Brothers and sisters, today we gather to seek wisdom, to understand the ways of this world, and to discern the truth of the Almighty. Many have asked, why do the wicked prosper? Why do those who lie, cheat, and oppress seem to rise while the righteous struggle? Do not be troubled, for this question is not new. Long ago the faithful cried out with the same concern, and the answer has been written. The world in its fallen state rewards those who chase after power, wealth, and greed. The unrighteous may build great houses, fill their storehouses with gold, and sit in high places, but their riches are like the grass of the field, flourishing in the morning but withering by night. Do not envy the wicked. The word warns us, do not fret because of evildoers, nor be envious of the workers of iniquity, for they shall soon be cut down like the grass and wither as the green herb. Psalm 37:1-2. Though they seem to prosper, their wealth is fleeting. They may boast of their riches, but they cannot buy peace for their soul. They may wear robes of silk, but inside they are clothed in unrest. They may feast at great tables, but their hunger for more is never satisfied. True wealth is in righteousness. What is wealth that perishes? What is success that ends in ruin? The world sees riches in silver and gold, but the Almighty counts riches in righteousness. The world praises power, but the Most High exalts the humble. The world builds towers of pride, but the hand of the Lord brings them low. It is written, better is a little with righteousness than great revenues without justice. Proverbs 16:8. Do not be deceived, beloved. Many who seem to have everything have nothing, for they have traded their souls for dust. What profit is there in gaining the whole world if in the end one loses the gift of eternal life? The judgment of the wicked. Do not be dismayed when you see the unrighteous thrive, for their day will come. Their gold will turn to rust, their power will crumble, and their names will be forgotten in the dust. For the Lord knows the way of the righteous, but the way of the wicked shall perish. Psalm 1:6. The wicked may have their reward in this life, but what awaits them beyond? Those who reject the truth, who oppress the weak, who trust in their wealth rather than in the Almighty, will stand before the throne and answer for their deeds. And on that day, no riches will save them. Walk in the ways of the righteous. So, my brothers and sisters, let us not fix our eyes on the fleeting wealth of the wicked. Let us not envy their success, nor be shaken by their rise. Instead, let us store up treasures in heaven, treasures that do not fade, treasures of faith, love, and righteousness. Trust in the Lord and do good. Dwell in the land and cultivate faithfulness. Delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart. Psalm 37:3-4. Walk in truth, seek justice, love mercy, and hold fast to the promises of the Most High. For in the end it is not the riches of this world that matter, but the inheritance of eternity. The wicked may prosper temporarily, and their rise may seem unstoppable. They build great empires, gather riches beyond measure, and walk in the high places of the earth. Their voices are loud, their influence stretches far, and their wealth appears to be a shield against all trouble. They scheme and deceive, oppress the poor, and take what is not theirs, yet they do not seem to suffer for their actions. Instead, they grow in power, and their possessions multiply. The righteous look upon them and wonder why justice tarries. They question why the heavens remain silent while the unrighteous flourish. The world rewards those who pursue gain at any cost. It lifts up those who chase after power and trample others underfoot. The wicked are clever in their dealings, using deception to increase their wealth, and they are celebrated for their cunning. Their homes are built on the toil of the poor, their tables are filled with the fruits of their corruption, and their names are spoken with admiration by those who desire the same fleeting success. The righteous, meanwhile, struggle in the shadows, working honestly, walking in truth, yet finding the path difficult and filled with hardship. But what is the end of such prosperity? Though the wicked may seem untouchable, their success is but a vapor, a mist that vanishes with the morning sun. Their gold does not follow them beyond the grave. Their power cannot shield them from the hand of judgment. They may revel in their abundance today, but what of tomorrow? The wealth of the unrighteous is like a house built on shifting sand. It stands tall in fair weather, but when the storms of time come, it crumbles to dust. Their riches are stored in places that thieves can break into. Their treasures are in vaults that rust can consume, and their names, once great, will be forgotten. The wicked live in the illusion that their success is secure, that their power will last forever. They do not see that their own deeds are digging a pit beneath them. They may escape the judgment of men, but they cannot escape the judgment of eternity. They may silence the voices of the oppressed, but they cannot silence the voice of truth that cries out against them. The time will come when they must account for all they have done, when the riches they trusted in will become their burden, and the power they wielded will be taken from them. The righteous should not lose heart when they see the wicked thrive. Though it may seem that justice is delayed, it is never forgotten. The Most High sees all things, and His ways are higher than human understanding. What appears to be success is often a test, and what looks like prosperity is often a trap. The wicked rush toward their own downfall without even knowing it. Their feasting blinds them to their hunger, their riches blind them to their poverty, and their power blinds them to their weakness. They are like a tree in full bloom, standing tall in its season, yet marked for the axe. Do not envy the wicked, though they seem to prosper and flourish in the world. Though their wealth increases and their influence spreads, do not let your heart be troubled by their success. It is easy to look upon those who build their fortunes through dishonesty, deceit, and oppression, and wonder why their lives seem blessed, while the righteous struggle. It is tempting to question why justice appears delayed, why the unrighteous rise while the faithful remain in hardship. But do not be deceived by what your eyes see, for the success of the wicked is an illusion, and their riches are but dust in the wind. The wicked gather wealth without regard for righteousness. They use deceitful scales, take advantage of the weak, and trample over others to secure their gain. They manipulate, lie, and scheme to rise higher, believing that power and riches will shield them from all harm. They indulge in luxury and excess, believing they have built their own security. They boast in their own strength, trusting in their riches more than in truth. They are admired by those who desire the same wealth and feared by those who stand in their way. But their prosperity is built on sinking sand, and though they may stand tall for a time, their fall is certain. The righteous, seeing this, may feel discouraged. They labor honestly, yet their wages seem small. They walk in truth, yet their path is filled with trials. They choose justice over greed, yet their hands remain empty, while the hands of the wicked overflow. They cry out for fairness, wondering why their reward is delayed while the unrighteous celebrate their victories. They may begin to question whether righteousness is worth it, whether integrity holds any value in a world that rewards corruption. But let them remember that what is seen is temporary, and what is unseen is eternal. The wicked may store up treasures, but they cannot take them beyond the grave. They may enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season, but the season will end. Their riches will fade, their power will crumble, and their names will be forgotten. They may build houses of gold, but they cannot buy peace. They may wear garments of silk, but they cannot clothe their souls in righteousness. They may eat at great feasts, but they will hunger for what money cannot satisfy. Their laughter will turn to mourning, and their joy will become sorrow when the truth is revealed. Envy not their success, for it is a trap. The wicked appear to have everything, but they lack the one thing that matters most. They may gain the whole world, yet lose their own soul. Their riches blind them, their power deceives them, and their hearts grow cold. They trust in their own strength, unaware that it is fleeting. They boast in their own wisdom, not realizing that it is foolishness. They build their lives on a foundation of lies, and when the storm comes, they will fall with nothing to hold on to. The righteous must not be discouraged. Though their path is difficult, it leads to life. Though their hands may be empty of gold, they are full of truth. Though they may suffer now, their reward is certain. Their treasures are stored where neither moth nor rust can destroy, and their inheritance is secure. Let them not look with longing at the prosperity of the wicked, but instead fix their eyes on the eternal promise. The wicked may flourish like a tree in full bloom, but in time they will be uprooted. The righteous may struggle like a seed buried in the soil, but in time they will rise and bear fruit that will last forever. True wealth is found in righteousness, though the world does not see it that way. The world measures wealth in silver and gold, in lands and possessions, in status and power. It looks upon those with great riches and calls them blessed, while it looks upon the poor and calls them unfortunate. But the wisdom of the world is foolishness, for what is true wealth if not the favor of the Almighty? What is abundance if not a heart that is filled with peace and a life that walks in the ways of truth? The riches of this world are fleeting, but righteousness endures forever. Many chase after wealth with all their strength, believing that it will bring them happiness. They toil day and night, seeking more and more, never satisfied with what they have. They believe that if they can only acquire a little more, they will finally find rest. Yet the more they gain, the emptier they feel. Their riches grow, but so does their anxiety. Their storehouses are full, yet their hearts are troubled. They surround themselves with luxury, yet they cannot buy peace. They have everything, yet they have nothing, for their souls are hungry for something the world cannot give. But the one who walks in righteousness, even if he has little, has everything he needs. He may not have wealth in the eyes of the world, but he has peace that surpasses understanding. He may not sit among the powerful, but he stands firm in truth. His treasure is not in perishable things, but in the eternal promises that cannot be taken away. He does not fear the loss of riches, for his inheritance is secure. He does not envy the wicked, for he knows that their wealth is like a vapor that vanishes. He walks in integrity, and his soul is at rest. The rich man who trusts in his wealth is like a man building his house on shifting sand. When the storms come, he will see how weak his foundation truly is. His wealth may shield him for a time, but it cannot protect him from the trials of life. It cannot save him from sorrow, from sickness, from the burdens of the soul. It cannot bring him joy that endures. But the one who builds his life on righteousness is like a man who builds on solid rock. No storm can shake him, no trouble can remove his peace. His foundation is firm, for it is built on truth. There are many who have riches yet live in misery. Their gold weighs them down like chains. Their power isolates them. Their greed consumes them. They are never satisfied, always wanting more, always fearing loss. But there are also those who have little, yet live in great abundance. They do not store up treasures on earth, but their hearts are full. They give freely, they love deeply, they walk in the ways of righteousness, and they lack nothing. Their wealth is not measured in coins, but in faith, in wisdom, in love, and in the knowledge of the truth. In the end, wealth gained through wickedness will perish, but righteousness will endure forever. The one who walks in truth may not have the riches of the world, but he has the riches of the soul. He may not have treasures that can be counted, but he has treasures that cannot be taken away. The world may look upon him and see little, but the Almighty looks upon him and sees great wealth. For true riches are not found in what a man owns, but in who he is, in how he walks, and in the peace that comes from a life lived in righteousness. Judgment awaits the wicked, though they may believe themselves to be secure. They walk in arrogance, believing their power will last forever, that their wealth will shield them, and that their deeds will go unpunished. They oppress the weak, deceive the innocent, and take what is not theirs. Yet they do not stop to consider the consequences of their actions. They mock the truth, scoff at righteousness, and live as though they will never be held accountable. They build great empires for themselves, store up treasures, and take pride in their achievements. Yet they do not see that all they have built is but dust before the wind. They believe themselves to be beyond the reach of justice, but justice will not sleep forever. Judgment will come, and when it does, there will be no escape. The wicked look at their prosperity and think that it is a sign of their own greatness. They see their success and assume that they are untouchable. They mistake the patience of the Almighty for approval, but they do not realize that their days are numbered. Just as the sun sets after it has shined brightly, so too will their time of power come to an end. They may rule over nations, they may gather wealth beyond measure, but all their strength will fail them in the end. The riches they trusted in will be useless when the time of reckoning comes. The power they boasted in will crumble like a house built on the sand. They will call out for mercy, but there will be no one to save them, for they have sown destruction, and now they must reap its harvest. The wicked may silence those who speak against them, but they cannot silence the truth. They may cover their tracks, but they cannot hide from the eyes that see all. They may deceive the world, but they cannot deceive the one who knows the heart. Their sins are recorded, and they will be called to account. They may escape the justice of men, but they cannot escape the justice that comes from above. Their deeds will be laid bare, and every secret will be revealed. There will be no excuses, no defense, no pleading that can turn away what is coming. Many will look upon them and wonder how they have fallen. Those who once feared them will see their ruin and be amazed. Those who once envied them will see their end and understand that their prosperity was an illusion. The wicked will be stripped of all they held dear, and nothing will remain of their former greatness. The high places they built for themselves will be torn down, and the names they sought to make great will be forgotten. The world that once praised them will turn away, and all they valued will turn to nothing. The wicked do not consider that their own ways will destroy them. They believe they are in control, but they are walking toward their own downfall. They reject wisdom and refuse correction. They harden their hearts and continue in their ways, ignoring every warning. They see the destruction of others and think it will not come upon them. They laugh at judgment, but soon they will not laugh. They believe they have outrun justice, but justice moves at its own pace and never fails to arrive. In the end, judgment will not be delayed forever. The wicked will receive what they have earned, and no wealth, no power, no pleading will save them. The hands that once grasped for more will be empty, and the voices that once boasted will be silenced. They will see the truth too late, and they will know that the riches they trusted in could not save them. And judgment will come, and there will be no escape. The faithful must trust in the Lord, even when the world seems uncertain, even when trials arise, and even when the wicked seem to prosper. Trust is not built on what is seen, but on what is known to be true. The ways of the Almighty are higher than the ways of men, and though the righteous may not always understand the path before them, they must walk in faith, knowing that He is guiding their steps. The storms of life will come, the winds will blow, and difficulties will arise, but the one who puts his trust in the Lord will not be shaken. He may face hardship, he may endure suffering, but he will stand firm, because his foundation is not in the fleeting things of the world, but in the unchanging promises of the Most High. Many place their trust in wealth, in power, in the strength of their own hands, but these things cannot provide true security. Riches fade, kingdoms fall, and even the strongest among men will one day grow weak. Those who trust in themselves will find that their strength is not enough, that their wisdom is lacking, and that their plans cannot account for the unknown. But the faithful do not rely on their own understanding. They place their hope in the one who knows all things, who sees the end from the beginning, and who never fails those who trust in Him. The road of the righteous is not always easy. There are times when it seems that the wicked are winning, that justice is delayed, that the prayers of the faithful go unanswered. But what is seen is not always the full story. The Most High is always at work, even when His ways are hidden. The trials of today are not the end of the journey, but part of the refining process, shaping and strengthening those who remain faithful. The one who trusts in the Lord does not waver when difficulties come, for he knows that suffering produces perseverance, perseverance builds character, and character leads to a hope that does not disappoint. The faithful do not need to fear the future, for their lives are in the hands of the Almighty. He provides for His people, sustains them in times of trouble, and lifts them up when they are weary. He is a refuge in times of distress, a shelter in the storm, and a firm foundation when all else seems unstable. Those who trust in Him are like trees planted by streams of water, bearing fruit in season and never withering, for their roots are deep in the source of life. Even in the face of trials, the faithful must not lose heart. The path may be narrow, the journey may be difficult, but the destination is secure. The promises of the Almighty are true, and He is faithful to those who trust in Him. Though the world may offer temporary pleasures and fleeting security, the faithful know that true peace is found in the presence of the Lord. They do not seek their reward in the things of this earth, but in the eternal treasures that cannot be taken away. In times of uncertainty, the faithful must remember that the Almighty is in control. He sees every tear, hears every prayer, and knows every burden carried in the heart. Nothing is hidden from Him, and nothing is beyond His power. The faithful may not always understand His ways, but they can trust in His goodness. Those who wait on Him will renew their strength. They will rise up on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not faint. The righteous will not be forsaken, and those who trust in the Lord will never be put to shame.